Hello and welcome once again to the Punk Wrestling Podcast. I am RM Punk and this is the Smackdown review. But before we get started, hit that like button with a super kick and smash that subscribe button for me. Thank you very much. We will be talking Smackdown, like I said. This was a okay show. There was a lot of setup for Fastlane and some story beats that may be interesting going to WrestleMania. But all in all, wasn't the best episode I've seen. But we'll get through each segment, we'll talk about it, and let me know what you think. We started off with Edge kicking off the show. Not Roman this week. Oh, they're learning. He says there's going to be a big contract signing tonight, but he's got some things he wants to get off his chest. Roman said that a man like him shouldn't face a man like me. A family man, etc. Blah, blah, blah. Roman and Paul are the great spin doctors. For weeks, Roman was asking Edge to acknowledge him, but then he's backtracking once he does. Once he does pick him, he's backtracking. And then he gets on to Daniel Bryan. And he's got problems with... Bryan says he loves this more than me. Let me remind you that when Bryan was wrestling maybe once a week, I was wrestling every single day, facing people like Undertaker, John Cena, Terry Funk, Shawn Michaels, over the last 4 decades. He's not here because he has to be, he's here because he loves this, and don't forget it. Daniel Bryan comes out. Daniel Bryan's like, well, you got sucked in. Like, I thought you was the ultimate opportunist. I thought you'd respect me for going after what I've got, like me going for business for myself, as you say. He has the ultimate amount of respect for Edge and what you've done. But this isn't about you, Edge. This is about Daniel Bryan. This is about Daniel Bryan main event in what could possibly be his last WrestleMania. You know, he put himself on the back burner and he doesn't want to do that. He shouldn't be doing that. He should go out and do what he can to be in the main event of WrestleMania. Edge says he likes Daniel, but Roman's already beaten him once, and, doesn't need to. Like, Edge wants Roman, basically. And he doesn't like how Daniel's gone about this. Despite Edge being the ultimate opportunist, talking about his past and everything like that, he doesn't like how Daniel's gone out looking for the title for himself. And he says that Daniel Bryan's good, but he's not as good as Edge. This was quite a good promo, quite impassioned here from both men, but something didn't quite hit right with me in this bit. So let me know, because I've heard mixed things about this. Some people love it. I don't feel it. So let me know. Next up, we have 8-man tag action as Street Profits and the Mysterios face off against the Dirty Dogs and Alpha Academy. Yes, that's right. Dolph Ziggler and Otis are tagging together after all of last year. They don't like each other. Just make it clear they don't like each other. Okay. Anyway, the heels attack before the match, and we go to break. After them, and as the match gets going, this is actually a really fun match. There's a really nice sleeper spot with Ziggler on Ford's back, and Ford is carrying Ziggler on his back to try and make the tag. When they're about to make the tag, Rude distracts the ref, and the ref doesn't see the tag. This was a fun little match, like I said. Ended with Ford pinning Rude after a 180-degree frog splash. So he's jumping high up in the air, spun 180, so he's facing the other way when he lands. Really nice stuff here. And it furthers the Street Profits, Rude and Ziggler feud. Next up, we get a quick recap of Molly Holly being announced to the Hall of Fame. Congratulations to Molly Holly, much deserved. Jey Uso is heading towards Roman's office when we come back, and Paul Heyman stops him, and basically he's like, maybe this isn't the best time, maybe you should come back later after last week, Roman's angry, etc. And Jay's like, alright, yeah, I've got business to handle anyway. Next up, we get a interview with Seth Rollins. Kayla asks, Cesaro's a thorn in your side. We get the recap of Cesaro giving Seth the swing, and Seth asks, why are we watching this? Why are we talking about this? I was trying to help Cesaro, and in return I get embarrassed and humiliated. I'm done with it. Cesaro is the biggest letdown and waste of potential in WWE. Kayla mentions that Murphy has a rematch against Cesaro tonight, and Seth gets a twinkle in his eye. He's happy about this, and this will come in next. But first, we get a recap of everything that happened with Reginald last week. How he got fired, he got slapped by Sasha, and then Nia picks him up because he's cute. And we have a on-location segment. They are taking Reginald clothes shopping. This reminded me of one of my favourite films, The New Guy, with the dressing room scene. But yeah, Nia is taking Reggie shopping. He can get whatever he wants. And Reggie is trying on suits, and Nia is talking him up, and Shayna is sitting there fed up in the background on her phone, in a position I've been many a time when clothes shopping. At one point, Nia gives him a little slap on the ass, and after the nice suit says, "Come to mama," and Reggie does a backflip into Nia's lap, and Reggie asks what could he possibly do to repay her, and with a twinkle in her eye, the porn music starts playing, and we fade back to commentary for a very confused commentary desk to go, anyway. If you like silly stuff, you'll like this. I enjoyed this in a bubble. This was fun. But Reggie's too much in the women's division on everything. He's everywhere on this show. But in it, bubble was quite fun. Next up, we get Cesaro versus Murphy. Seth comes out with a chair and he's sitting on stage. There was a good start to this match with big impact strikes from both competitors. But Cesaro does hit the deadlift superplex and gets the swing in, but rolling attacks Cesaro before we can finish this match. Hits the curb stomp on Cesaro. Seth is screaming at Cesaro. He hits the stomp again. He says, "You'll never be on my level." Grabs a chair, puts it on his head like he's going to do curb stomp onto the chair that is wrapped on in Cesaro's head. But officials break it up before he can stomp on the chair. Seth heads out to the back, and who is waiting for him? Shinsuke Nakamura stares down Seth. Now, this could be interesting. Do we get a Seth versus Nakamura match at maybe Fastlane before we get the Seth versus Cesaro match at Mania? I like this a lot. Kevin Owens is backstage, and Sami Zayn comes to him with the camera crew. He wants Kevin Owens to be part of the documentary. They've known each other for so long, etc. They know the injustices they've been through, etc. And Kevin Owens like, "Yeah, I've got stuff to do. Like, I'm doing the Kevin Owens show. I'm prepared for this." And Sammy's like, "No, you're blowing me off. Come on, please. You need to be in the show." And Kevin Owens is like, "I'll think about it," and off he goes. This was a nothing segment. But I have heard rumours and stuff that plans for Mania are really still up in the air, like they're back to square one. Could we heading for Old Faithful Sammy versus Kev down the line? You know, I wouldn't complain. Like, it's a nice go-to, you know. You've got it in your back pocket. Anyway, Jay is backstage and Edge approaches him. And he's just come to talk. He's known you and your family for a long time, haven't I? And I came to talk to you man to man. What are you doing? Like, in 2015, I saw a match with you and your brother, and it made me realise I could still love wrestling. I could still love this. But now you're head down, you've been a lapdog to Roman. What does your dad think about this? And Jay's guard starts to come down a little bit, but straight back up. "No, we're the family, we're running this, you know, you need to go spend time with your family." Okay, cool, fine, whatever. The KO show is up next, and Kevin sort of does a little thing, and he says, "The last few months have been rough for me. I took a few weeks off, because mentally and physically, but I will just keep fighting. But tonight is not about me," and brings out his guests, and they are Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks. You know, Kevin's saying that they could walk into WrestleMania as tag team champions facing off against each other at WrestleMania. And the only people he can think of that have done that in the past is John Cena and Shawn Michaels. And that's not a bad crowd to be part of. But to do that, you have to beat Nia and Shayna, which you didn't do at Elimination Chamber. And the reason for that is because of the tension between you. And Belair's like, "Reggie is the issue here. Like, you need to get rid of him. Like, you didn't need to slap him. You didn't need to slam the door in his face. You just needed to get rid of him. Tell him you're not interested. and deal with it. Instead, he's a problem. He's here. He's everywhere. And she's like, nah, I'm the boss. It's not my fault that he has a crush on me. And then goes into a normal promo. I'm the Michael Jordan of this. One day you might be the LeBron James, but I'm here now. I'm the boss, etc. And she's not worried because she will be walking out of WrestleMania as 2 belt banks. Nia and Shayna come out with Reggie and straight followed by Natty and Tamina, and they are out for a match. Natty and Tamina versus Belair and Sasha. So this was a mess. Okay, they just don't need these the tag titles and the singles titles to mix. Just have a tag division and have a singles division, and you don't need to have this much crossover. A little bit here and there is fine, but just anyway. Nia and Shayna are on commentary for the match. Shayna has had enough of Reggie being the focus, as she clearly says, as have also. And Shayna also brings up, can we just watch the damn match? Again, I agree. At one point, Nia is not feeling that though. Nia orders Reggie to distract Belair at one point, but it's Sasha who gets distracted by Reggie, who is dancing around on the top of the announce table, showing off his new suit. So Sasha gets distracted by Reggie, chases after Reggie, leading to more distractions. Belair gets distracted, and Tamina rolls up Belair for the win. I'll let that sit for a bit. Tamina pins the 2021 Royal Rumble winner and challenger to the women's title, Bianca Belair. Yeah. Anyway, so Belair is angry at Sasha for entertaining Reggie, and Reggie is smug as hell. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Right, that's done. We can get on to the next bit, can't we? We get a recap of the Apollo assault on Biggie. We come back from break. Belair and Sasha are doing the same promo they just did. We'll put that one side. Biggie is out, and he is in a neck brace. He's got crutches, a boot on, but he quickly removes them all to show he is back. And I will go through as much of this promo as I can because it was fire. As I laid up in a medical facility because of Apollo and those steps, I had to think, I hope you know what you did. You crossed the Rubicon. You opened Pandora's box. There's no coming back from this. There's no sorry. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. You made me go biblical. I've got to go Old Testament on you because now it's eye for an eye. You come here to hurt me and I come here to maim you. You step on my lawn and I bulldoze your house. Beating you, pinning you is not enough. I have to end you. You want what I work for? What's mine? Well, now I'm ready to give you what you want. We don't need to wait. Bring your behind out here and get what you've been waiting on. Come get it now. Silence. No Apollo. Not surprised. I got all dressed up to defend my title. If you're not going to come out and get it, I'll open it up to an open challenge. So we have an open challenge situation. Who comes out? King Corbin comes out. He's in his suit. He says, I'm not in ring gear, but I can mess up this $30,000 suit. I can scratch up this watch. Before he gets any more words, Sami Zayn's out and he just shouts, I accept. I accept. Corbin's like, what are you doing? I accepted. And Sami's like, no, we've got it on tape. You never accepted. I did. You was maybe going to accept. But it'll be the perfect ending to my documentary to win the IC title match. You snooze, you lose. Big E cuts in and says, you're all fools. Whoever gets in the ring first gets the match. Sami runs straight into the ring. And so it's Sami Zayn versus Big E. And he gets belly to belly for his trouble as we go to break. We get to the match. Big E versus Sami Zayn. Big E is dominant early, runs through Zayn and hits the big ending for 3 in the end. Zayn did get a little bit of offense in. He did hit a nice sunset flip bomb at one point from the top rope, which was nice. But in the end, Big E is too much for Sami Zayn. Throughout the match, Big E is shouting for Apollo to come out. And once the match is over, he's still shouting for Apollo. Apollo's music hits. Big E doesn't face, like, starts sort of looking around in different directions. Where's he going to come from? He decides he's going to try and sneak up from behind, so faces the opposite way from the ramp, but that's where Apollo comes from, and Apollo attacks it from behind, hits the angle slam twice, then gets the steps in the ring, shouting at Biggie, rams the steps into his shoulder, and stands tall on top of the steps. This feud is fire. This is great stuff. I know I said before that maybe this, like, I would like Biggie to move on to other challenges, but they are doing great work here, so I can't complain. We get a Nia and Reggie segment. Have I said Reggie enough yet? Reggie. Okay, so Nia says, my baby looked so good tonight. All right. And Reggie says, maybe next week you should challenge Sasha for her title, and then you can walk into Mania as double champ. And that match is announced. That's happening. So next week on SmackDown will be Nia Jax versus Sasha for the women's title. All right, fine. So our main event segment is the contract signing. Roman is out with Heyman and Jay, and Daniel Bryan is out for the contract sign. Adam Pearce presiding. Of course, Roman moves Pearce out of the way. He is going to be at the head of the table for this. And Roman says that you don't want to do this. You did everything you were supposed to do, but I'm not feeling it. I'm not signing it. Not interested. And Daniel Bryan's like, well, I'm excited, so I'm signing this. And then Daniel just starts talking. And who would have thought that Roman wasn't a man of his word? Who would have thought that Roman Reigns was afraid? But I'm better than you. People have always said that I'm better than you, but you didn't believe this. You have self-confidence. But last week, I proved it. I did something you couldn't do, and that is make Jey Uso tap out. Does that make you doubt yourself? The head of the table can't be afraid. Maybe I should proclaim myself head of the table. The ruler of the island of relevancy. The head of the Samoan family. Afa and Sika would love me. And Roman's like not getting a word in. And Daniel Bryan's like, oh, you're going to smash me, are you? You're going to smash me? And Roman signs the contract. And Daniel Bryan says, good, now I have a message for you. I'm going to tap you out just like I did Jey. Jey is furious. Jey throws the table out of the ring, gets in Daniel Bryan's face, and says this match needs a special guest enforcer, and that man is me. Edge comes out. That sounds like a good idea, but I've got one better. How about Edge versus Jey Uso next week on SmackDown, and the winner gets to be the enforcer? And Adam Pearce is like, yep, I like that. That sounds like a match. Edge and Bryan attack Roman and Jey. At one point, Daniel and Edge are both getting in shots on Roman, but Edge pushes Daniel out the way because he wants more of Roman. And so Daniel Bryan hits the running knee onto Edge, and Daniel Bryan stands tall to close the show. I am feeling this. Daniel Bryan is kicking it into a high gear here. I can actually see him being in the main event of WrestleMania here in a triple threat situation. I think that's what we want at this point. Whether it will happen or not, I don't know, but that's where my mind is going. So let me know what you thought. Please give the video a like, press that subscribe button, and tell your friends. Share it around. Let people know what content they're missing. Have a good night. I will speak to you all soon. Good night.